Hey church, Alicia here. We're going to continue our devotional with Mary of Bethany. And in our first session, we talked about Jesus visiting the house of Mary and Martha, and how Martha was upset that Mary wasn't helping, but instead sitting at the feet of Jesus and absorbing everything he was saying. Martha was so busy that she missed out on what Mary was receiving, because we are to give Jesus our time. But in this section, we're going to find Martha and Mary having another encounter with Jesus. However, this time, it's different. We're going to read John 11, 1 through 6. In the village of Bethany, there was a man named Lazarus, and his sisters Mary and Martha. Mary was the one who would anoint Jesus' feet with costly perfume and dry his feet with her long hair. One day, Lazarus became very sick to the point of death. So his sister sent a message to Jesus. "Lord, our brother Lazarus, the one you love, is very sick. Please come." When he heard this, he said, "This sickness will not end in death for Lazarus, but will bring glory and praise to God. This will reveal the greatness of the Son of God by what takes place." Now, even though Jesus loved Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, he remained where he was for 2 more days. Finally, on the 3rd day, he said to his disciples, "Come, it's time to go to Bethany." Now, when they arrived at Bethany, which was only about 2 miles from Jerusalem, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Many friends of Mary and Martha had come from the region to console them over the loss of their brother. And when Martha heard that Jesus was approaching the village, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed in the house. Martha said to Jesus, "My Lord, if only you had come sooner, my brother wouldn't have died. But I know that if you were to ask God for anything, he would do it for you." Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise and live." She replied, "Yes, I know he will rise with everyone else on resurrection day." "Martha," Jesus said, "you don't have to wait until then. I am the resurrection and I am life eternal. Anyone who clings to me in faith, even though he dies, will live forever. And the one who lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" Then Martha replied, "Yes, Lord, I do. I've always believed that you are the anointed one, the Son of God, who has come into the world for us." Then she left and hurried off to her sister, Mary, and called her aside from all the mourners and whispered to her, "The Master is here and he's asking for you." So when Mary heard this, she quickly went off to find him, for Jesus was lingering outside the village at the same spot where Martha met him. Now, when Mary's friends who were comforting her noticed how quickly she ran out of the house, they followed her, assuming she was going to the tomb of her brother to mourn. When Mary finally found Jesus outside the village, she fell at his feet in tears and said, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus looked at Mary and saw her weeping at his feet and all her friends who were with her grieving, he shuddered with emotion and was deeply moved with tenderness and compassion. He said to them, "Where did you bury him?" "Lord, come with us and we'll show you," they replied. Both Mary and Martha approached Jesus with the same question. However, he answered them differently. I could just see Martha running out and demanding an answer. So he gave her answers. But I think it also revealed her lack of faith, her unbelief. Mary came to him when he called for her. She ran to him quickly, and instead of getting in his face with questions, she fell at his feet once again, weeping and saying the same thing Martha had, only it was different coming from her heart. So different, in fact, that it moved Jesus deeply, and he had compassion on her and then asked where Lazarus was buried. Let's continue with scripture. Then tears streamed down Jesus' face. Seeing Jesus weep caused many of the mourners to say, "Look how much he loved Lazarus." Yet others said, "Isn't this the one who opens blind eyes? Why didn't he do something to keep Lazarus from dying?" Then Jesus, with intense emotions, came to the tomb, a cave with a stone placed over its entrance. Jesus told them, "Roll away the stone." Then Martha said, "But Lord, it's been 4 days since he died. By now his body is already decomposing." Jesus looked at her and said, "Didn't I tell you that if you believe in me, you will see God unveil his power?" So they rolled away the heavy stone. Jesus gazed into heaven and said, Father, thank you that you have heard my prayer, for you listen to every word I speak. Now, so that these who stand here with me will believe that you have sent me to the earth as your messenger, I will use the power you have given me." Then, with a loud voice, Jesus shouted with authority, "Lazarus, come out of the tomb." Then, in front of everyone, Lazarus, who had died 4 days earlier, slowly hobbled out. He still had grave clothes tightly wrapped around his hands and feet and covering his face. Jesus said to them, "Unwrap him and let him loose." From that day forward, many of those who had come to visit Mary believed in him, for they had seen with their own eyes this amazing miracle. Martha's faith and belief was in the future resurrection, but Mary knew the things that Martha did not. Probably because when he came to see her the first time, there were mysteries revealed to Mary that Martha missed out on. When Martha approached Jesus, she got answers. However, when Mary approached Jesus, she once again fell at his feet, and then action happened. We must bring our trouble to Jesus. He will answer beyond anything our minds could ever imagine.